Welcome to this Q&A video. I decided to make this Q&A video mostly focused on the process of my personal conversion to Judaism, and I converted into Orthodox Judaism. The majority of you wanted to know more details about that process, how that process was for me, so I decided to focus this Q&A video on that topic. And then I'm sure at a future date I would love to do another Q&A video focused on more general topics that you guys want to know about. Thank you to everyone who sent in a question, and I hope I will be able to answer those questions satisfactorily for you in this video. So first question. How did I go about finding a community and a sponsoring rabbi? So for anyone who may not know, when you go to do a conversion to Judaism in the Orthodox stream, you are going to be required to live in an Orthodox Jewish community. That's just one of the prerequisites. And you're also going to need to have a rabbi that is sponsoring you. This is a rabbi that oversees your participation in community life and is going to liaise with the Bet Din on your behalf to give updates to the Bet Din periodically, and they're going to keep in contact with each other just to see how you're doing. So that's what the sponsoring rabbi does. For me, what happened in my case, I was 21 at the time when I met a man who was Jewish, and we started dating. And although he was secular, he was fairly well connected to the Chabad rabbi that ran an outreach Chabad center on campus. So he was running outreach to the university students. And my boyfriend and I, we were living at that time about 10 minutes away from this campus Chabad house. And so that was like my first exposure to Jewish practice, and we would go together fairly often to Friday night dinners and Shabbat services, and that was very nice. I was very curious to learn about it, and I would say that was like the first rabbi that I met was Chabad. The other family that I got to know quite well was another Chabad rabbi that was doing outreach to secular Israelis that were living in the area. And so my boyfriend had quite a good friendship with this person, and he had a young family. They were around the same age, and so they would often invite us also for Friday night dinners. These were like the two people, they were both rabbis, a little bit like the two people that I was starting to talk to a lot and learn from. So we did that for about 2 years, where we were just living outside of the community, but we were attending events and Shabbat services and having these invitations to the rabbi's house for about 2 years before I actually made the decision to pursue an Orthodox conversion. When I finally did make the decision to convert, it was these two rabbis that helped me a lot, helped guide me, helped put me in contact with the Bet Din, because I had no idea who to go, who to talk to, like how to make it happen. We did end up moving to the area of the city where it was like the established Orthodox community. And there was another Chabad center that was operating in that area, and that was a part of the city where you had the kosher grocery store and the Jewish community center and just more Orthodox synagogues. And so it was the rabbi of this second Chabad center that was like my formal sponsor for the Bet Din. Really, it was kind of like this group effort by that point. For all these rabbis knew each other. They were all Chabad, and they saw that I was a good and positive influence on my Jewish boyfriend, and they were very supportive. I don't know if they will ever see this video, but a big thank you to them. They changed my life. So for me, I did not go looking for a community. I did not have to go community shopping or sponsoring rabbi shopping. It just happened naturally, organically. It was these people that I had built up a relationship with over the years, and they had gotten to know me, gotten to know our situation. I did not show up one day and be like, hey, I want to convert. That's not how it happened for me. It was only after many months of these people observing my involvement, observing my curiosity, and us having these conversations together. And I think that did make it quite a bit easier in a way. And they were nothing but helpful and supportive the entire time. For anyone who is wondering what my advice would be if you're in the same situation of looking to convert to Judaism, if you do live in an Orthodox community already, then I would say just bloom where you're planted. Just get started and do your conversion there. And the reason I say this is for two reasons. The first reason being, you as a convert, you are going to grow and change so much as an individual, and especially if you're single, then you are probably going to want to get married, maybe with someone from the community or maybe not. So the community that you do your conversion in is not necessarily the one that you're going to stay in long term. And because as a convert, you don't really have the best idea of where you would belong, my advice would be to just go to the most practical Orthodox community that makes sense in your case, whether or not you live in one already or you do have to move. Just go to the one that makes the most sense right now. Don't overthink trying to find the right community from the very beginning. Just get started and do it. The second reason I feel this way is because, okay, well, I should probably define some terms. I think when it comes to community, you have two aspects of it. You have the practical aspect of community, just being the place where Orthodox Jews live. The other aspect of community is people that share your same perspective on different issues, your same mindset, tradition, etc. So with regards to the practical aspect of community, for sure we have that here. My husband and I, we have everything we need where we are right now. But as far as the second aspect of community, the feeling of that we belong, that the majority of people around us, Jewish people, share our traditions and our mindsets and our opinions, that I'm not sure that even we have found at this point. The biggest reason for this being that we are Sephardic and there is no Orthodox Sephardic synagogue in this city. It's all Ashkenaz. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's very beautiful, it's wonderful, and we have friends here and everything, but the level of community that we are going to want, especially as our kids grow older, that is something that we are going to be looking for ourselves. The other thing is that communities themselves, because of some outside factor or influence, can also, that feeling you get of, yes, I belong in this community, that can also change. A good example of this for me personally would be the last 3 years since COVID came along. And for a variety of reasons, most of the community went this way and I went this way. And because of this divergence, I found myself shut out of attending my children's school, Orthodox school, from attending the mikveh, from participating in different community events that were put on by certain Orthodox groups. So that was an eye-opening experience for me. My point being here that the way you feel in any given community can change based on you yourself changing or other external influences that take hold of the community at large. So if you are looking to convert, don't overthink it. Just find the one that makes the most sense for you at this point in your journey and go from there. Hashem will work it out for you, and you are who you are for a reason. So have faith in that and do your best wherever you are. That would be my advice. The second question, was I pushed away at first and how did I deal with this? So I would say, to answer this question, no. I wouldn't say that they pushed me away necessarily. First of all, when you do express an interest in conversion, this is something that the rabbi has to do. He has to try and dissuade you. It's actually a law, a Torah law, that he has to do this. I think different rabbis, though, go about this in different ways. In my case, they made sure I was informed of the difficulties. Historically, Jews have faced a lot of persecution, and as a convert, I would not be exempt from that, especially for a convert who left Christianity, because Judaism is already Christianity's biggest insecurity. So for someone to leave Christianity and move over to Judaism, that can be viewed as like a very big deal for a lot of Christians. So the rabbis made sure I was aware of that, and the fact that there was a good chance I could lose many friends as well as family members that wouldn't speak to me. They told me that I would probably face challenges in any number of ways, really, whether it's just having to change my lifestyle so drastically, the way that I dress, the way that I eat, the places I go, the people that I associate with, that is all going to be different once a person converts and becomes Jewish. So there is inherent challenges with that, and the rabbis just did their best to inform me of that and prepare me, and they wanted me to know about these things in case any of those would be a deal breaker for me in terms of completing the conversion process. There was never any kind of rudeness or rejection, anything like that. The next question is, how did my family react to the news that I was converting, and how did I go about dealing with that? I would say that my family's reaction to my conversion was much more mild than the reaction they had when they found out I was dating a Jewish man. Up until that point in my life, I had always dated Christian men, even though I myself was not very strong in that religion anymore. Over my teenage years, I had a lot of questions, and I stopped attending church. There was just things that happened there that made me uncomfortable. I do go more in depth on this in my conversion story video. I will link it below if any of you want to watch that, if you haven't already. But I always did, when it came to dating, I always did date people that identified as Christian. So when I started dating someone who was outside of that religion entirely, this did elicit quite a response from my family. More so my father, I would say. My mom was kind of more open-minded, and she'd had Jewish friends as a child, and she was a little more familiar with what Jews believe, and she didn't view it as the end of the world that her oldest daughter was dating a Jew. But I think it was a little more difficult for my father, and I remember having many conversations with him early on about what I was doing and the fact that he disagreed strongly with it. I don't think my parents were all that surprised when they learned that I was going to pursue a formal Orthodox conversion. It was not unexpected, I think, by that time. I think my mom especially was more open-minded towards it, and she recognized that she could either choose between having a relationship with me and her future son-in-law. Religion was not an issue that she was willing to lose the relationship over. I do have quite a good relationship with my mom. My parents are divorced, so I have less of a relationship with my father, but I am quite close to my mom. So, love you, Mom.
You love your mom?
I love my mom. Grandma. You love Grandma? I know.
I like apples like a grandma.
My father did eventually come around as well, and I would say that religion is just not something that we talk about. We don't talk about it with them, they don't talk about it with us, and it's treated as a non-issue whenever we are together visiting. A related question along the same vein is, how do I manage visits and holidays, etc. with family now? And now we do go see my mom, we do go visit my family. I have many siblings and we do visit with them from time to time. Not usually on any holidays. For example, the December holiday period. We would avoid going there when they are having active celebrations. What we do, we just bring all our own supplies, all our own food, all our own dishes, and that works out pretty well. We just don't talk about religion. The next question, did I have a mentor, or what did I do to learn Shabbat prayers, making challah, keeping kosher, the Siddur, etc.? So no, I didn't exactly have a mentor. What I did was, after I was enrolled in the conversion program, I started taking classes with a rabbi that I was paying a small amount to teach me the basics and what I needed to know. Also, you get like a curriculum from the Bet Din. I guess it's not really a curriculum, it's like a syllabus. So it's an outline of these are the things, these are the topics you need to learn about, and the life cycle events that you should try and be a part of, or at least observe once or twice. For example, going to a Brit, going to a funeral, going to a wedding. So I had these classes with the rabbi, and then when it came time for me to learn about the laws of family purity, then I had the rabbi's wife was teaching me classes, and also her mother gave me a few classes on Hebrew and kosher as well. So I had a few different teachers, different rabbis and rebbitzins that were helping me to learn different topics, but there wasn't like a mentor necessarily that helped me through the whole thing. In addition to taking classes, the other thing I did was read a lot of books. So even before I formally enrolled in the conversion program, I had read quite a number of books. So reading books and taking classes, these were the two primary ways that I educated myself on all the topics, everything that I needed to know in order to do the conversion program. Okay, so next question, the written test. So for those of you who may not know, as you come to the end of your conversion process, however long that may take you, your sponsoring rabbi is going to test you on all the things they think that you should know by now in order to finish the conversion process. So there's a written test component. To the best of my memory, it was fairly comprehensive and fairly large. In our case, the rabbi gave us the test to take home and complete. I'm not sure if they do that in every case, in every situation. So don't take my example necessarily as for what will happen in your own case if you are also converting, but that is what happened for us. We were somewhat of a special case by then because we had a toddler, and I was also about 7 months pregnant by the time I finished the process. So I think the Bet Din and the rabbis, they do take that into account. And if you have some kind of special circumstance that needs some accommodation, they will do their best to help you out with that. In my case, it was young children. So to the best of my memory, this test covered subjects such as Jewish history, theology and beliefs, kosher, Shabbat, the Jewish calendar, the holidays, Israel, and the laws of family purity and gender issues. So it's fairly comprehensive. But like I said, in my case, the rabbis were helpful. And after studying for several years, you probably do already have a pretty good handle on the types of questions that they're going to be asking in the written test, so I wouldn't let it scare you. It's basically all the things that you're going to need to know to live a Jewish life after you do the mikveh and become an official Jew. So they just want to make sure that you know what you need to know and that you're prepared. that's the purpose of the written test. The next question is regarding the mikveh. What was my experience going to the mikveh at the completion of the conversion program? So when I finally did finish my conversion program, it took me about 4 years to do from start to finish. And I found it to be a very emotional experience. I was bawling my eyes out afterwards. It was so, I can't really describe the feeling, but it was just, it really felt like I had become this new person. So what happens for anyone who is converting and would like to know, you go for like the final interview with the Bet Din, and they explain to you what's going to happen. You're going to go for the immersion and how that's going to, they'll give you all the details of that. Likely beforehand, you will have to arrange for there to be another woman that is going to supervise your immersion if you're a woman, because the rabbis and the Bet Din are going to be present for the immersion, but they're not going to witness it. It's going to be the woman, that mikveh attendant, that actually has eyes on you and makes sure that you are immersing properly. So what happened for me is that first you do all the preparations. I did my preparations at home, or like the hotel where we were staying. I did all the preparations there beforehand, and then we went to the synagogue where the Bet Din convenes. And we had the interview, the final interview with them. They explained to me what was going to happen as far as the immersion. And then so I went down into the water. They had draped towels all around the perimeter. So I went down into the water, and then the mikveh attendant, the woman, she let the rabbis know that I was ready. They came in, but they stayed like at the back corner, and they couldn't actually see me. Then they ask you some other questions, like, do you confirm that yes, you are going to be joining the Jewish people? Do you accept upon yourself the Torah, the mitzvot, and all this? They ask you these questions, and then you say yes or no. I said yes, obviously. So the rabbis tell you, okay, now you make the immersion, and the female mikveh attendant is watching as you do this to make sure that your entire body goes under the water properly the way it should be. So then the rabbis leave, and then you exit the mikveh, you go get ready, prepare, like get dressed and stuff back. And then afterwards they offer their congratulations, mazel tov, etc. And yes, but I was just wow. I was very emotional. And then we had to arrange the wedding. Like 3 weeks after that, we were flying to Israel for the wedding. So if you want to see our wedding video, I will link that video below as well. You can go check it out. If you are a person that is looking for more information about an Orthodox conversion to Judaism, I am going to put a whole bunch of links in the description box below this video, so you can check that out. And these are all the best resources that I have found over the years, and they're going to help you hopefully in your own personal journey. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.